Welcome to Chapter 1, Becoming a Successful Student. Da-da. I feel like there should be some music there. So, learning objectives for Chapter 1. By the time you finish this chapter, you will be able to discuss the benefits of post-secondary education, list the 9 essential skills valued by Canadian employers, identify the basic principles of power learning and how expert students use power learning to set goals and achieve academic success, and can compare and contrast learning styles, striving styles, multiple intelligence, your own personality and values, and how these relate to your values and motivation to succeed academically. The benefits of post-secondary education. So a lot of people know this. Typically, if you have a university degree, you will make more money than someone who has a college diploma. And if you have a college diploma, you will most likely make more money than someone who has a high school graduate. And if you didn't even graduate from high school, then you're even lower on the spectrum here. A couple things. First of all, there continues to be a discrepancy between males and females in Canada and how much they're paid for similar educational levels. I'm not going to get into all the reasons for that. That's a totally different topic and a course in itself, but still progress needs to be made there. I also want to point out that the other thing that's very interesting about Canada and what's happening is that if you have a college diploma, you're more likely to get a job out of school almost immediately, whereas your university degree, depending on your field of study, it might be more challenging finding employment. So I think that's been an interesting development. Personally, I think the best education you can have in Canada is either going straight to university and becoming a professional in a field like medicine or engineering or teaching or something, or if you're not going to do one of those that lead directly to profession, I believe the best way is to go college diploma, and then if you really want a university degree, you can take a couple extra years and then have both. So you have the ability to be employed almost immediately, as well as the opportunity to make more money down the line. Okay, reasons for wanting to go to university. They surveyed a number of students, and you might be surprised at the answers here, but the most important reason was because they were passionate about the study they wanted, or the topic or the course they wanted to study. And then the middle of the road was kind of to move to make more money for a future career. And then at the very bottom, because everyone I know goes to university or went to university. So probably the best reason is that you're passionate about something or want to advance your career. Probably the worst reason is because everyone else is doing it. So some benefits of post-secondary education: you will learn how to think critically, you will learn how to communicate better, you'll be better able to deal with advanced knowledge and technology, you'll learn how to adapt to new situations, and you'll be better prepared to live in a world of diversity. You'll make learning a lifelong habit, and you'll boost your career prospects. What employers value? So I found this interesting. These are essential skills that employers are interested in. Numeracy, the ability to work with numbers, writing, oral communication, working with others, continuous learning, the ability to read, thinking, document use, and the ability to work on digital platforms. So those are the 9, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, those are the 9 essential skills that Canadian employers are looking for. So you can go down that list and see where you might be able to improve and ensure that you have at least a basic skill set in all of those areas. Okay. What employers value. So employers want complex problem-solving skills, critical thinking, creativity, people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, a service orientation, ability to negotiate, and cognitive flexibility. Notice there's nowhere on that list that it says they want the highest grades in the courses, right? There's a lot of these essentially soft skills that people need to succeed in the workforce that have very little to do with how well they do on a test or what their grade is in a course. Power learning, the 5 key steps to achieving success. Follow these 5 steps, you will be successful. Prepare, organize, work, evaluate, rethink. Interestingly enough, these also spell power. Become a power student by doing these 5 things. So being prepared is you have to know what destination you're heading towards. You have to know how to get there, and you know how the best way is to reach that destination, as well as what you'll do if you come into trouble along the way. Every journey starts with a single step. SMART goals. It's hard to hit a target that you can't see, so it's very important to set that target, whatever it is in your life and what you want to achieve. Please make sure that it's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So once you have prepared, we're going to move into organization. And you need to organize the tools to accomplish the goals that you want to achieve. 2 kinds of organization. There's physical organization that has to do with essentially organizing all the materials you need for class and studying and for school. And then mental organization, which is even more critical, and that is the ability to complete tasks, stay motivated, and organized. Organizing can actually save you time because you're less likely to be anxious and end up losing your way, right? If you have a plan and you're organized, you simply follow that plan. Work is the next step. If you have consistently carried out the preparation of the organization, you should know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how much time you need to do it. So the first 2 steps are critical in completing the work. Effort produces success. I love that. Take responsibility for your failures and successes. Think positively. Accept that you can't control everything and just relax. It's fine. And accept that there will be missteps. You're going to screw up along the way. That's fine. It's okay. Everyone screws up. You'll still get there. So evaluate is the next letter, and now that you move, now the power moves to evaluate. Consider determining how well consists of determining how well the product or activity we have created matches our goal. Step number 2, let's consider some steps to following let's consider some steps to following in evaluating what you've accomplished. Take a moment to congratulate yourself and feel satisfied. Compare what you've accomplished with what your goals are and what you're seeking to achieve. Evaluate your accomplishments as if you were a respected mentor from your past. That's interesting. Evaluate what you've done if you were a current instructor or supervisor, and based on your evaluation, revise your work. Rethink. Now you can move to rethink. Rethinking is what you've accomplished earlier. It means bringing you fresh perspective, clear eyes to what you have done. It involves using critical thinking. Thinking that involves reanalyzing, questioning, and challenging your underlying assumptions. General framework for using critical thinking. Reanalyze, question the outcome, identify your underlying assumptions, consider alternatives that you rejected earlier, and what you would do differently if you had the opportunity to do things again. And finally, reconsider your goals. It's okay. It is okay to reconsider your goals. If you start this year and you think you want to head in a certain direction, and after this first semester you realize that no, this is not what you want to do, that is fine. You're allowed to reconsider your goals. Very few people in life are still on their plan A. They've moved on to their plan B or C by the time they've reached probably middle age. Completing the process, know that there's always another day. Realize that deciding when to stop work is often as hard as getting started, and use the strategies that already work for you. So learning more about yourself. What is your preferred style? Do you like to read and write when you learn? Do you like visual or graphic? Do you like to listen, verbal or tactile, kinesthetic? What is your preferred learning style? When you are coming across material for the first time, do you like to read it and write it? Would you rather see it, hear it, or maybe interact with it in some way, some sort of hands-on type of learning? Here are the definitions of the four learning styles and using them, right? So if you think that you're more of a reader-writer, there is some guidelines there, but the best thing to do when you are trying to learn, if you're more visual or auditory or tactile, it has learning styles or learning strategies that help, they cater towards your individual learning style. So what is your striving style? Figuring out how best to leverage your college or university education begins with understanding who you are meant to be. What you strive to be influences how you learn and how you achieve. So here are the 8 striving styles. I'll let you go through them individually and try to figure out if you're a leader, socializer, performer, adventurer, artist, intellectual, visionary, or stabilizer. Go through those, read the descriptions, try to figure out which one describes you best and how you learn. It's so important to figure out how you learn best, because that will make learning that much more enjoyable and a lot easier. Multiple intelligence. So these are also ways of looking at learning, or how you're intelligent. It's not a matter of are you intelligent or aren't you intelligent. It's a matter of how are you intelligent. All right. Do you have an interpersonal skills, linguistic? Are you more of a math person? Do you connect with nature, pictures, or in a kinesthetic way, or music? Or maybe you're great with people. I know lots of people I've grown up with that may not be the most academic, but they're amazing when it comes to meeting people. And I know other people that are great with books and they can pass any test you give them, but when you put them in a group of people, they're a little bit awkward, and they don't have the skills that other people do in this area. Again, here's a description of each of those types of intelligence: logical, linguistic, spatial, interpersonal, intrapersonal, musical, kinesthetic, and naturalistic. There are the strengths, and this is how people use those types of intelligences. What do you value? Values are what a person thinks are important in life. Your values are reflected in your beliefs, your attitudes, and your behaviors. Your personal values likely reflect your upbringing, your culture, your education, and your experiences in life thus far. Values Canadians share. This is really interesting. Most believe that Canadians collectively share values of human rights and gender inequality. So you can see, if it is green, Canadians share that in great extent. If it's orange, it's moderate. And if it's red or pink, it is a small extent. Not at all is blue, and don't know and refuse to answer the question is purple. So you can see that really human rights is at the top. Respect for law is third. Ethical diversity is fourth. And then they have respect of Aboriginal culture there at the bottom. Really interesting though. 50% here of Canadians, to a great extent, share this belief in human rights. What is your personality type? Yeah, there's very different types of personality. Where do you gravitate in this graph? Are you open? Are you agreeable? Are you extroverted? Really interesting once we start diving into these personality assessments in this course, and you learn a little bit more about what type of personality you have. putting it all together, you have a variety of styles. Your styles reflects your preferences regarding which abilities you like to use. Your style, your personality type, and your values may change over the course of your life. Absolutely. You should work on improving your less preferred styles and work cooperatively with others who may have different styles than you do. Okay, so this is kind of going further into concluding the chapter. We're not going to go into too much detail here. This is just going over the learning outcomes. Okay, so that was a very brief overview of chapter 1. We will go into a bit more detail in our live session through the assignments we have, but I do encourage you to open your textbook, highlight it, make some notes, because all of this material will be on the midterm. If you have any questions about anything I covered, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask.